Terapagos EX, a new card that came out of Stellar Crown, and I think this card will see a lot of plays. There are many ways to play this deck. You can pair it with Palkia, Bouffalant, or even the Dusknoir line. But for this video, we're going to be learning how to play the Dusknoir version. We're going to go over the deck list, explanation of all the cards, some test hands, and a gameplay from Pokemon TCG Live. Of course, all the timestamp will be down below. Let's start off with the deck list. For the Pokemon, you have 3 Terapagos EX, 3 Hoothoot, 3 Noctowls, 2 Fanrotom, 2 Pidgey. It should be 260 HP Pidgey, but I couldn't find another one, so ignore this one. 2 Pidgeot EX, 3 Duskull, 1 Dusclops, 2 Dusknoir, 1 Squawkability EX, 1 Blood Moon Ursaluna EX, and 1 Pheasantipity EX. For the supporter, you have 3 Ionos, 1 Professor Research, 1 Briar, 1 Chloris Tenacity, and 1 Boss's Order. For the items, you have 2 Buddy Buddy Poffin, 4 Nest Ball, 3 Ultra Ball, 1 Feather Ball, 4 Rare Candy, 2 Night Stretcher, 2 Counter Catcher, 1 Switch, and 1 Prime Catcher. For the Stadium, you have 4 Area Zero. For the energies, you have 4 Double Turbo, and 1 Jet Energy. And here's the overview of the deck. Alright, let's go through all the cards in the deck and why it's in there. We'll start off with Terapagos EX, our main attacker of the deck. We're only going to be using his first attack, Unified Beatdown. For 2 colorless energy, it does 30 damage for each Pokemon on your bench. You're probably wondering, that's not a lot of damage, which is why we're running Area Zero. We'll talk more about the stadium later, but basically you're going to have up to 8 Pokemon on your bench. So for 2 colorless energy, you can do up to 240 damage, which is why the card is so good. Let's talk about Noctowl, which evolves from Hoothoot. Noctowl's abilities is actually broken. His ability lets you search out 2 trainer cards and add it to your hand whenever you evolve him. But the only thing is, you need a Terra Pokemon in play in order for the effect to go off. But trust me, this card is so good. You're going to see it in every deck that has Terra Pokemon. And remember, it says trainer, which means you can get a supporter, a stadium, an item, or even a tool. Next we have Fanrotom, which is also there for its ability. You may search your deck for 3 normal Pokemon with 100 HP or less, and add them to your hand. This is good to search out Hoothoot, Noctowl, and your Pidgey. But remember, you can only use it your first turn. Next we have Pidgey, which evolves into Pidgeot EX, which is mainly there for its ability as well, which should let you search your deck for any card once per turn. Pidgeot has always been broken, but since you're running Double Turbo in this deck, you can also use his attack as well. It requires 2 colorless energy and does 120 damage, and you can also discard a stadium in play. Next we have the Dusknoir line. You have Duskull, Dusclops, and Dusknoir. We're going to mainly look at the Dusclops and the Dusknoir, because we're going to be using their abilities. Dusclops lets you put 5 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon, but if you use the ability, it is knocked out. Dusknoir does the same thing, except it does 13 damage counters instead of 5. And since Terapagos EX can only do 240 damage max with full bench, these cards go really well together with it. Next we have Squawkability EX, which is also there for its ability. If it's your first turn, you can discard your whole hand and draw 6. So if you start with a bad hand, Squawkability is there to save you. Next we have Blood Moon Ursaluna EX. This guy will be your late game attacker. For 5 colorless energy, it does 240 damage, but we will never need all the energies, because his ability says his attack costs 1 less energy per prize card your opponent has taken. So if your opponent has 1 prize left, this can attack for free. And lastly, we have Pheasantipity EX, which we are also using for its ability. That lets you draw 3 cards if your Pokemon was knocked out last turn. Extremely powerful card as well. Let's talk about the supporters. Iono lets you disrupt your opponent and draw more cards. Professor Research lets you discard your whole hand and draw 7. Briar, one of the newest cards from Steal the Crown, lets you take an extra prize if your opponent's Pokemon was knocked out by a Terra Pokemon. But you can only use this card if your opponent has exactly 2 prizes left. Chorus Tenacity lets you search out an energy and a stadium. Boss's Order lets you switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active. Onto the items. Buddy Poffin, Nest Ball, and Ultra Ball let you search your deck for your Pokemon. Buddy Poffin can search out Hoothoot, Fanrotom, Pidgey, and Duskull. Nest Ball lets you search out any basic Pokemon. And Ultra Ball lets you search out any Pokemon, but you have to discard 2 cards. Feather Ball lets you get a Pokemon that has no retreat cost from your deck to your hand. It's mainly there to get your Pidgeot EX. Rare Candy lets you skip an evolution, which is why we're not running Pidgeotto. You can also go from Duskull all the way to Dusknoir. Night Stretcher lets you bring back a basic energy or a Pokemon from your discard pile back into your hand. Counter Catcher lets you switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active, but you can only use it if you have more prize than your opponent. This is really good because we can use Dusknoir's ability, which he blows himself up and your opponent takes 1 prize. So now you can use Counter Catcher freely. Switch lets you switch your active Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon. Prime Catcher lets you switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active, but you also gotta move a bench Pokemon to the active as well. Lastly, we got the Stadium, the new Area Zero card. If you have a Terra Pokemon in play, you can have up to 8 Pokemon on your bench. But if you do lose your Terra Pokemon, you do have to discard your bench until you're back to 5. Lastly, let's quickly talk about the energies. You have Double Turbo Energy, which counts as 2 energies, but your Pokemon does 20 less damage. So Terapagos EX can actually only do 220 damage with a full bench. And lastly, we have 1 Jet Energy. If you attach this energy to one of your bench Pokemon, you can move it to the active. It's a good energy for Blood Moon Ursaluna at the end. If you have any questions about this deck, please let me know in the comments. Alright, let's do some test hand. We're gonna do one for going first and one for going second. But for this deck, you really want to go first, just because we can't use Terapagos' first attack going second. Let's start with our first test hand. For this one, we're gonna be going first. Oops. So we're gonna shuffle a few times. Then let's do it one more time. Then we're gonna offer our opponent if they would like to cut our deck. So let's pretend like we're our opponent. Cut the deck. Now we draw 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 7 cards. Let's see if we have a basic to start. We have a Pheasantipity to start. Not The best starting Pokemon, because you don't really want like a 2-prizer in case you're going up against like Raging Bull, Roaring Moon, Turbo Moon, all that. Any turbo deck basically. So we start with Pheasantipity, we draw for turn, and it's a Dusknoir. This is not a bad hand at all. For sure, we're going to be using Buddy Hoffin to get 270 HP Pokemon from our deck onto the bench. And normally we would be price checking here, but for the sake of the video, we don't want to make this too long. So let's pretend like we know exactly what's in our deck. So we're going to get the Fan Rotom for sure. This way we can get more basic Pokemon out. Then Duskull to start setting up for the Dusknoir explosion, I would say. And since Fan Rotom, we can only use it our very first turn. It's always nice to start with it. So we're going to use the ability Fan Rotom, or I should say Fan Call. We're going to get a Hoot. We're going to get a Pidgey to set up our Pidgeot EX. And depending on your situation here and what you think you need next turn, you either get another Hoot, or if it's for me, since we already have a Noctowl in our hand, I will get another Hoot for sure. But if not, you would get another Noctowl, or you get a Noctowl. And then you can, it also depends too. Let's say you think your opponent's gonna knock out your Pidgey, you might want to get a second Pidgey. It all just depends on the current situation. But this is pretty good for now. I don't know why I'm shuffling, because I'm going straight back in. We're gonna put down the Hoot for sure, and the Pidgey. And then our last spot is, I'm actually gonna start, we can either put down the Nest Ball to get a Terapagos EX to start setting that up, or we can just put down the Hoot. That way your opponent can't just boss up the Terapagos EX. But just for example, we're gonna do the Terapagos EX here. So we place that down with the Nest Ball. We don't have energy in hand, so that's kind of sad. So we can't attach or even like remove this Pheasantipity EX from the active. But I believe that is all we could do for that turn. Next turn we do have Noctowl to evolve to one of the Hoot. This way you can get any trainer cards you need next turn. We already have Rare Candy in hand, so for this we could get like an Ultra Ball to start setting up the Pidgey. We have Chloris Tenacity to get a double turbo to attach to Terapagos EX. And then we also need some way of switching, so that could be from either the Noctowl or from when we get our Pidgeot EX with the Rare Candy. And yeah, that is it for the going first turn. Moving on to our second test hand. This will be for going second. It's not ideal to go second, but sometimes you do lose the dice roll, so you do have to go second. So let's see what we do in that situation. It just sucks because Terapagos EX first attack, you cannot attack if you're going second your first turn, if that makes sense. All right, we shuffle our deck, offer our opponent if they would like to cut the deck, draw our 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's see if we start with a basic. Start with a Squawk and 2 Terapagos EX. We're most likely just put the Squawk in the active. That is such a horrible hand to kind of Squawk just because we don't want to get rid of the Prime Catcher. But we're going to have to. So let's do our 6 prizes. Actually, it's not too bad since we are going second. All right. We're going to flip. Let's pretend like our opponent just finished their turn. Now it's ours. So I am going to put down a Fez. Put down 1 Terapagos EX. And I will probably Iono here because I don't want to get rid of the Prime Catcher and the other Terapagos EX. And the Dusknoir. So I think we Iono before we Squawk. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Even though I'm kind of teaching you guys. But yeah, I think the correct play is to Iono this. Put it into the bottom. And we draw 6 new cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's a lot of rare candies that we have to get rid of. But let's see how we will handle this situation. I think for sure I'm getting the Nest Ball to bring out our Fan Rotom. Put down the Fan Rotom. And I think we're gonna put down the Hoot Hoot as well. I think I'm okay to squawk the 2 rare candies, but from the nest ball, let's just double check if we have 2 more rare candies in our deck. We have 1, we have 2. So we still have 2 rare candy in there to evolve our Pidgeot or even our Dusknoir line. So let's shuffle our deck a little bit because we are gonna squawk. I don't always recommend squawk using the squawk ability, but in this situation, we'll just do it to see what else we can do with this turn. So let's squawk this hand away. Draw 6 new cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now that we have this 6 cards, I'm gonna use Fan Rotom's ability to get out 3 basic Pokemon, which with 100 HP or lower. So for sure the Pidgey. I think I'm gonna get the Noctowl, even though I do have an Ultra Ball in hand. But the Ultra Ball will be used to find our Pidgeot. So I think I'll just get another Hoot Hoot to hand. So these are the 3 we're taking. And unfortunately, we can't really set up any Dusknoir unless we use the Ultra Ball, but I kind of want to save this Ultra Ball for next turn. So I think we're just going to put down the Pidgey. We shuffle our deck. And I think that's all we can do. Oh, we can attach a double turbo to the Terapagos EX right there. And then that is it for our turn. We are somewhat kind of set up because we do have Noctowl next turn to evolve the Hoot Hoot. And then we also have Ultra Ball to get Pidgeot EX. So from the Hoot Hoot, we can also get Rare Candy. We can get like an Iono, whatever trainer card we need to start setting up and attacking next turn. All right, let's check out gameplay on Pokemon TCG Live. Jumping into our game, we get to choose heads or tails, and we always pick heads. And we lost the coin flip, which we now probably have to go second. And like I mentioned earlier, we do not want to go second with this deck. Preferably, if we go first, most of the time we will get set up, be able to take multiple prizes the next turn. Yep, our opponent did decide to go first. So that's very sad on our part, but that's not too bad. So we have Terapagos in our starting hand. I don't know what we're going against, so I'm putting that down. Usually, if you do know what your opponent is playing, you don't want to put down a 2-prizer. You probably want to put down like the Pidgey or Hoot Hoot. Okay, it looks like we're going against Guardy. So I think it's kind of a bad matchup for us, just because they have single prizers that can attack for a lot of damage, can knock out your Terapagos. But we'll see how we do here. This is pre-recorded, as always. I always record the game first, and then I do a voiceover later. So I know the outcome, but you guys don't. So let's see how this plays out. So he Ultra Balled away a Drifloon for a Ralts with only 3 cards in hand. So he started with only 1 Ralts, which is kind of bad. So we're going to capitalize on that, start setting up as much as we can. Ideally for this nest ball, we can either go for the Squawk, the Duskull, or a Fan Rotom. But we do have Iono in our hand. That's why I decided to do the Duskull first. I think I'm going with the Squawk for this one. And then we're going to Iono and then Squawk away our hand. Just because usually you should be prize checking, but I didn't check if we had the Pidgeot EX in the deck. And we did hit the Fan Rotom, which is really good here. We can place that down, attach the energy to the Terapagos, Squawk our hand away. The cards we're getting rid of is not too bad. And then we can use the Fan Rotom after to set up more Pokemon, and then you can get your Noctowl as well. So right here, I'm probably going to get another... So it looks like we prize one of the Hoot Hoots, which is what I'm checking. So we're just going to stick with all 3 Noctowls. Whatever it is, I'm getting the Fan Rotom just to thin out my deck. It's always good to just take it all out. We're going to set up more Duskulls here. This way we can potentially knock out all their Pokemon next turn if they only have 3 Pokemon still. And I'm deciding if I want to put down the Terapagos EX here, but I don't think we need to. So I'm putting the Fan Rotom down. If they get rid of the Area 0 Stadium, we can get rid of both of the Fan Rotom and the Squawk. Just getting rid of the useless card because we know Guardy usually plays Unfair Stamp and a lot of Ionos. So you got the Earthen Vessel here. I'm guessing I don't think he's running the rare candy version. Yeah, he's doing the TM Evo version, so it's a little slower, so we still have another turn. And he's only TM Evoing 1 routes, so that has 1 Kirlia. If we can knock the Kirlia out, we are so ahead right now. So right now we can get the Noctowl. Oh, we can do Featherball first, get the Pidgeot. Then we use Noctowl to get a rare candy for sure. But what will be our second trainer? I would say either Iono or another rare candy. So I think I'm deciding to do 2 rare candies here. Because we have no way to gust up the Kirlia. We could have get a boss, but I want to blow some stuff up, you know. So we're going to use the Pidgeot right here to get a Dusclops. We're going to use the rare candy to evolve the Duskull into the Dusknoir. And then we're going to blow up the Kirlia. And then we also knock out their Screamtail. That's 2 prizes in 1. They do take 1 prize from the Dusknoir, but that's okay. They have no Kirlia, which means they're super behind now. We're evenly with 5 prizes each. They're selecting their prize. It would be awesome if we get a Dusclops here. I also, like I said, I didn't prize check during this gameplay. So I don't even know if my Dusclops is in my deck. But yeah, I'm putting the second one down. Just in case, for some reason, they can knock it out next turn. I have a second Terapagos on the bench ready to go. So we took 2 prizes in 1 turn. Ideally, if we could have, it would be crazy if we can evolve both Duskull into a Dusknoir, pop the 2 Pokemon in the back, and then just one hit, or just hit the active Pokemon and we win. So they run Hassel. This is a very interesting Guardy list because I haven't seen Hassel in Guardy at all. So maybe they're cooking with something. So I believe Hassel is if your Pokemon gets knocked out, you look at the top 8 cards and you pick 3. There's the routes. Nice Stretcher back for another routes, I'm guessing. They're running Nice Stretcher too. I think that was their second Nice Stretcher. I haven't keep up with like Guardy lists, so maybe Nice Stretcher is the move now. But I feel like Super Rod's just better just because you're running Artisan. The 1 energy attachment. Is he gonna pop another TM Evo? Okay, counter catcher up. Probably something that I can't retreat. I'm guessing it's a Squawk ability. Oh, it's a Noctowl. Very interesting. It has a Tatsugiri. Is this like a Japanese list? Because I know Japanese players love running Tatsugiri. Okay, there's the Unfair Stamp. So they're not running like the more turbo version where you're running rare candies and secret box. That is a horrible hand that we got. But we do have Pidgeot EX, so we're chilling. Because we can either search out for a switch, search out for Prime Catcher. We can even like Iono if we really wanted to. Oh, they got an Iono in their hand. I don't remember if they're gonna Iono me. Yeah, so we know they have Iono in their hand. We got the Jet Energy, which is pretty good because we can just bring back up the Terapagos. But I think I'm gonna just do a quick search here and get a switch. Save our Jet Energy in case they do boss something up again and then we're stuck in the active. And it looks like we prize our Prime Catcher as well because that's what I was looking for. So we do the switch, kill the Tatsugiri. And that's all that we could really do this turn. Like I said, we could have Iono to try to get more cards in our hand. But I feel like just doing the switch is probably the safest play at the moment.
We're down to 3 prizes, and there's our prime catcher. So we have a lot of gusting option, a lot of ways to get Pokemon out of the active if they do decide to keep stalling. Because I don't think they're running the rare candy build for Guardy, so for sure they need another turn before they can attack. So right now they're really behind. So we're not even worried. We're not even worried. I still want to pull off blowing up the 2 Duskull on my bench to knock out 2 Pokemon and then just attacking the active and just knocking out everything. But we'll see, we'll pull that off. So they're getting some energies. They discarded the Arvin. I think they're going to Iono me this turn. So they attach the energy to the active. Oh, they're going to Arvin. Interesting. So they're going to TM Evo. Probably going to get more routes with the Buddy Buddy Poffin. All 4 routes on the field. Okay, they're deciding just to TM Evo the 2 routes in the back. Like I said, they're very behind. I'm not sure if they are able to catch up with this. But if I'm able to pull off a Duskull play this turn, I can take 2 prizes. I'm only down to 1. So we did get the Ultra Ball. Do we get greedy here and Pidgeot for the rare candy and then Ultra Ball away to get the Dusknoir? I think we're going to do it. Pidgeot for the rare candy. And then we Ultra Ball for the Dusknoir. Blow up one of their Curlias. Yup. We Ultra Ball away probably the Jet Energy here. I think we could have even get rid of the Briar if we wanted to. The Jet Energy is kind of useful in a lot of plays. And I don't think they're gonna reach 2 prize anytime soon. Well, actually, we blow up, so they're at 4 prize, and if they can knock out my Terapagos EX, they'll be at 2 prizes. So we could have Briar next turn, but it's okay. We're literally down. We're gonna be down to 1 prize after this turn. So we blew up their 1 Curlia. They still have 1 more to work with. We got a boss order. We have a lot of gusting option in our hand. We're gonna boss up the only Curlia, putting them even more behind here. So that boss order off the prizes was clutch, very clutch. I think it's nearly impossible for them to win this game now. Got a Hoot. There's our other Hoot. We literally prized 2 Hoot, I believe. I feel like their only option here is just to memory skip. They're out of routes. It's all in the discard pile. Are they gonna Iono me? We know they have Iono in the hand. Iono me down to 1 card. Yep. So Iono to 1 card. But we're not worried at all. We still have Pidgeot EX. That means we can do a lot of things next turn. A lot of options. Depending on what we top deck as well. Okay, so they get 1 Curlia. Are they going to decide just to Refinement? Yep. Get 2 more cards. Can they set up anything? They're just going to memory skip, so it basically means I can't use... They get to choose 1 attack for my active Pokemon. I cannot use that attack at all. So I can't attack with Terapagos EX here. So what we're going to do is we're going to get Pidgeot EX ability to get a double turbo and attack with Pidgeot itself. Yes, sir. We put that attached to the Pidgeot, and then we manually retreat the Terapagos. There's other ways we could also play this, but I think it's pretty dope to finish off the game with Pidgeot EX, and they just surrender. So we took the game, guys. The deck is really fun. You guys should try it out.
That is it for this guy. Let me know what you guys think of this deck. But in the meantime, you guys can check out my other videos right over here. If you guys are new here, please hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Whoosh.